Hey everybody, I'm Tony Fleming from Fleming's Ultimate Garage. Thanks again for joining us on today's video. Listen, a lot of times we said, man, I should have bought it when I saw it. And this is exactly one of those times, and I'll tell you why. So we see a lot of great, interesting, amazing kind of wide range of cars come through here at Fleming's. And once in a while you get just something that's classic. And what does classic mean? Well, classic means it has great styling, low production, low miles, very authentic and original. And those are the kind of cars that we have seen over the past continue to kind of go up in value over time. And so while I can't predict the future, all I can tell you is that these selling for what they are right now, we have been watching, and you can see some graphs and everything doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and that is to drive your investment. How cool is that? Where you can actually own something and watch it go up in value while you enjoy the fruits of that as well. We're going to spend some time walking around. I'm going to give you some tips on some things that I look for when I'm buying cars like this. You can use those tips if for some reason you missed this one, because this one will go pretty quick. And I think that by the time we're done, you'll be like, hey, Tone, how do I get this in my garage? Part of owning a collector car is this original miles, which we have history of, Carfax, receipts, things like that. Does it have original interior? We know from looking at it and testing it over time, we do. And does it have original paint, which we don't know, right? It's very hard to tell if a car has original paint unless you use something like this. This is an electronic paint meter. I'll explain to you what it does. It measures the millionths of an inch thick that paint is. You say, oh, it's only got millionth of an inch thick. Well, all cars are kind of like that, because what you're really doing is laying on coats of paint and then clear coat on top of that. And clear coat is really paint without pigment in it, right? And so to know if a car is original, we use this gauge, and this gauge measures that, because a body shop might make a repair on a car and they'll do a great job, but they don't care how thick the paint is. And so the factory paints these cars in a hospital-like environment, okay? And as it goes down the assembly line, the robots are painting this within, say, 3/millionths of an inch thick. So let's say this car was in between 4 and 7. We would say that that's original paint on a car. When it jumps to like 10, 12, and 13, we know there's been a repair there. So here, we'll just go ahead and do the side so I don't bore everybody here. We have 4.5 here. We have 5.0 here. We have 5.0 again, 4.5, and so on and so on. Things like this. And we'll go back to the hood up here. Check that out. 5.0. So we know that this is original and authentic paint. So why does this matter? Well, what it matters is because now this is an even cooler car. This is how original it is. Think about this. This car is almost 40 years old. This is almost 25 when we're doing this video, right? It's almost 40 years old. The simple fact is it's been driven less than 1,500 miles a year. It was somebody's third or fourth car. It was in a garage. It was covered. It's exactly what we hope that we'll do for you as well. If you stay in your garage and keep a cover on it and use it sparingly as this great weekend car and stuff like that. Also, too, the paint quality on this car is so good looking with a blue interior and the white paint. It is shiny. Come on up here and see. This is factory original paint. We just measured it. And look how nice and clear all those letters are. You can see the lights in there, the ceiling, all that good stuff. What a great looking classic 80s vintage look to a car. All right, before we get under the hood here, I want to say this real quick. One of the fun things I love to do is I'll say, hey, listen, go open the hood of the 560 over there. Check it out. Tell me what you think. It's pretty cool looking. And people will pop the hood from inside, and then they will spend hours looking around for the latch. They could never find out how to open the hood, and it's kind of funny to watch. And you may not even know how to either. So I just want to give you a quick tip on that. It's hidden right inside the Pentastar here, and you go ahead and the latch is right in there. Once you know where it is, it's great. But other than that, no one can ever find it. It's very funny. All right. So why have these cars become desirable and collectible? Well, first off, you got 5.6 liters of V8. That's a big V8, right? Especially German V8s that make a lot of power to begin with. And it's all aluminum. Aluminum block, heads, all that good stuff. Overdrive automatic. This is a powerful, fast car. It was the most expensive car that Mercedes sold at the time in this configuration. And some of the other little tiny things I like to point out, because you can read about all of the detail stuff up here, but I want to point out this. When you're looking at cars, and some of the things that I see are this. It has original stickers still in here. You can't buy these stickers. right? So this has the original trim tag here, which shows how the car was built down the assembly line. The VIN number is still stamped in here. You say, Tone, why is that a big deal? Who cares about the stickers and whatever? My point is this. If it had been in an accident, these parts would have needed to be replaced, but they're still here. All right, so I want to just spend a second back here because this is a luxury car and it's a grand touring sports car, right? What does that mean? Well, it has high-end finishing pieces on it because all the time people say, hey, Tone, I love the look of that car, man. But no one knows why it's a great looking car. Little stuff like this full piece of stainless that's polished here, right? This piece is trim that goes all the way across, giving the car this wider stance. Polished here, stainless, stuff like this. This down here, you can see where it's the dual exhaust coming out. And this look through here where you get that great array of gauges, that center stack with all the wood in there. When people are behind you and they see this, they're like, wow, this is really a good looking car. And they point. I know that because I drive these cars all the time and I can see them in the rear view mirror going, talking to the person next to them. It's really great. All right. This is Mercedes, and this is a different Mercedes than maybe today's modern Mercedes. Today's modern Mercedes are very tech heavy. I felt like these might have been built a little bit better. They have a sound. They have a sound that just feels different. All of this is beautifully carpeted in here. Everything's tucked away, like the battery is moved back here. Battery weighs up to 50 pounds, and they move it to the back of the car to take some of the weight off the front end, right? So it handles a little bit better. Spare tires in here. It's just nicely done, all this stuff. And again, back to my original statement up front is here are the original decals still in place. So we know that this has not been an accident and these parts have been replaced, right? So that's a really good statement there. And then we have that famous third brake light that came out in the mid 80s, right? Still in its place and looking good. And today every car has to have it. All right, so when you walk up to a car in this shot here, this car is a good looking car. It's a stylish car. It's got great, you know, I'm going to use the word again, style from the 80s. And the 80s have come back, man. They are full of people doing things, shows, clothes, music, like all that stuff. And this is exactly why, because this was a cool piece. The world was full of excess, and here's a chance to own a car that was really, really expensive for its time. However, what we do love about these cars and why they're doing so well is very much like, say, a 70s or 80s vintage 911. A Porsche 911 of the 80s vintage is bringing a lot more money than it's ever has in the past, just like these are, because these are classic cars that are still modern enough to enjoy today. What do I mean by that? Well, they're fuel injected, they're four-wheel independent suspension, four-wheel disc brakes. This has, you know what, enough. Let's get inside and we'll talk about, and I'll show you all the amenities in there. All right, so what I love about these two is you get two different looks to these cars, right? Actually, three different looks. Tell them 3 different looks. What is it? It's a transformer? No, good call. That's a good question. No, 3 different looks is it comes with a painted hardtop giving you a coupe look. They made these cars earlier on in coupes. They didn't really sell that well, so they just stuck with the convertible, but they give you an optional removable hardtop. This has it. It comes with it. It's painted. It looks really great, okay? And then here, we also have the top is stowed inside here, so you don't have to move things. You don't have to get stuff out. It's super easy to get out. If you get stuck in some rain, it comes up in a second, and it is blue, and it looks so good in blue. With the blue interior and the white, it is smoking hot, good looking, right? And when you're done with it, you just super quick, goes right back inside its little place, and off it goes down here, and then latch it, and you're back on the road.